What's up, everybody? Welcome back as I fix my camera in just a minute to better give you the display of Legos that I spend so much money on. But we are doing another live happy hour, if you will, where we are going to be talking the Deadpool 3, Lauren, the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer.
Thank you, much better.
And also the X-Men 97 trailer just recently released. We're going to talk some Easter eggs within Deadpool and Wolverine. And we're going to talk about a little casting that happened this week. You might have heard about it. You might have heard that it's the Fantastic Four, Marvel's first family. Their cast has been announced. But first things first, my beer of the episode, because we're not really doing a week. If you follow our normal episodes, we do a beer of the week. We do what we've been reading or watching, what we've messed up on the week prior. And then we also have a main topic and go into some news. So I am drinking from Ardent Craft Ales out of Richmond, Virginia, a 5.5% IPA. It's delicious, man. It is pop. And, I kind of figured, what is a better beer to do this with than this one that's a juicy pale ale brewed with cryo pop, 5.5%. It's 12.
So it says pop on top of the hop. It's a hop pop.
It is. It's pretty cool.
Fun
It's a really cool can art. I had to do it, man. I had to do it. Lauren, what is it that you're drinking on this episode?
So Josh actually suggested I open this one tonight since we were talking such an epic movie. Obviously, Wolverine is my favorite. Obviously, I'm so incredibly excited for this movie. I have been praying for this movie since Samuel L. Jackson showed up at the end of Iron Man 1 in 2008 and said, I'm building a team. Lord. And I was like, if we could just collide these two universes. I'm drinking Pliny the Elder. So I'm going with an OG badass because we were talking about an OG badass. So I pulled down one of my little Wolvies to take some beer pictures. I actually just got this one because he's in the yellow suit. We were at the comic book shop. Shout out to Epic Comics if you're in East Orlando. And my son Logan goes, you don't have that one. I was like, you know what? You're right, I don't. And it's a pretty sweet one. And he's got little blood on his claws, right where his claws come out. Super awesome. I'm so excited for this movie. And I have it in my Cigar City glass because I need a proper Wolvie glass. I always end up using Cigar City because Wolvie loves his cigars.
He does indeed. Yeah, it's well, let's save the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer. Let's talk about something else real quick because I was today's year old when I found out that you haven't seen the X-Men animated series yet. Is that what?
Well, I didn't get into comics until I was a grown-up, so I never watched the X-Men series, and I didn't watch cartoons outside of Disney movies until you told me I had to watch Clone Wars, so it was just never on my radar.
Cartoons, that's kid shit. And then here you are watching cartoons and reading comic books, and here I am watching Supernatural because that's right. Go. Look at us.
Supernatural. I've only been into Supernatural for, Logan's almost 7, so 7 years now. Considering how long it's been on, that's not that long.
But dude, it's 5 seasons. It's amazing. Honestly, the X-Men animated series,
5 seasons. Supernatural's 15.
And real quick, the writers, the Lewolds, if you will, are going to be coming on our show here in a couple of weeks. Thanks to our friend
watching Micah. It now.
Yes, thanks to our friend Micah, friend of the show. He's been a friend for us a long time. He hooked it up to where we are going to be interviewing the original writers from the original X-Men animated series. That's going to be coming down your pipes in a couple of weeks. So do me a favor, do us a favor, man. Make sure subscribe, follow, of course, as always, to help the podcast grow. All of that. We're doing a lot of great things. We literally an hour ago just got off of a interview with Patton freaking Oswalt and Scott Hepburn and Jordan Blum talking about Minor Threats. And
fantastic comic.
Lauren,
Minor
for some reason,
the alternates.
Yeah, just a heads up, Lauren, you're gonna have to call out who's who in the chat right now on Facebook because this isn't letting me know who's who, but we're getting a lot of cool things. Somebody's at a Girl Scout meeting. It's lawless out here. But yeah, dude, while you do that real quick, the X-Men animated series shaped me along with the Spider-Man animated series. Those what got me into the nerd realm as a child because I grew up as Saturday morning cartoons for that. And here we are.
So shout out to Richard Nevins. He's in the YouTube chat. And he actually said, did I just learn your son is named Logan? So we were actually down to Wade and Logan at the very end. Wade for Deadpool and for Dwayne Wade. And then a week before he was born, my husband goes, his name's Logan. That's it. We're done. And it was so fitting and perfect because the movie also came to DVD the day he was born.
Whoa, DVDs.
Yes. And I saw Logan when I was pregnant with Logan. And Logan's always had a special place in my heart. I didn't want to push Logan on my husband because he's not as big as a Wolvie fan as I am.
I told Carrie straight off the back, I said, we're naming our child Oliver after the Green Arrow. And
Well,
so you were better than I.
my list because I was big into Arrow at the time, but Wolverine, I mean, Logan was the first superhero I ever fell in love with, obviously. So
Right.
yeah. Oh, and he said he just started watching X-Men the animated series today. So there we go.
Yeah. Shout out Richard, man. He's been a friend of the show. He does a lot of really, really
Gonna
good stuff over at the Direct. He's been on a bunch of times. So make sure you're checking out Richard's stuff. Really just an awesome dude. I got to meet him last summer when I was in LA. And man, I love him so much.
and
So
he'll
thanks.
be coming on in June to do a Lion King
He
30th
will.
anniversary
He's gonna
episode.
come on probably before that too. But shout out to everybody in the chat. Facebook users. My
We got
phone's my camera.
Micah, Ken, Justin, Minor Threats, the fastest way down, out April
We know
3rd.
that's
Check it
Ken,
out.
yes.
Yes.
But we did do that. So some housekeeping items. You're going to follow Nerd Initiative for our weekly comic book reviews. Just pop into that starting Tuesday and Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern, and follow the Nerd Initiative pages because that interview is going to come out there. But we're also going to drop it on our Hops Geek News pages as well, coming next week. A lot of fun that interview was. It was great, and yeah,
Just heard
man.
Remy's
Let's
voice the whole time.
let's talk to the. Did you watch the X-Men '97 trailer yet?
No.
Oh, you totally missed Gambit riding Wolverine into battle on his back.
I shared it on our stories and Instagram. I started to watch it. And actually I had to delete one of the things you shared because we both shared the poster.
Oh, look at
Not
us.
not the first time we've done that.
Yeah,
It
we've
happens on any
I
given.
never go on Instagram. It's always Lauren, so it's lawless out there.
I knew that was gonna happen too because you were getting very excited about it. So that's why I
Oh my
actually
god,
checked.
yes. Like well shout out to Megan actually from,
Oh, she just said
she's
hey.
yeah, see, there she is. Megan has been she's the one who hit me up and was like, "Hey, actually, the trailer's out and it's March 20th when the show's going to come out." And she hopefully her and Max are going to come on the show here soon. Mediaverse, we went on their podcast. Really amazing people. I'm going to see Megan hopefully in Awesome Con. Uh,
Just
but yeah,
soon.
man, yeah. March 8th, we have a panel for the Nerd Initiative crew. I'll be with Tony doing the MCU and where we think MCU is going to be headed now. So be there for that one.
It's a
And
great
for me,
conversation to have right now.
yeah, honest. I mean, truthfully, it is because one thing I noticed in the X-Men '97 breakdown or the trailer, the new banner says Marvel Animation. So it doesn't say Marvel Entertainment; it's Marvel Animation. So it looks like they're kind of distinguishing some things now with the trailer or the animated worlds, if you will. And dude, I'm so excited for that. I'm
Well,
so
we're
excited
creating
for that.
multiverses, so maybe that'll just be the animated multiverse.
That's true, actually. Good point. But it started off very nostalgic. Like their poster was VHS tapes, for example, which is really awesome.
I do love that.
Yeah, like it was absolutely yeah. See, Richard's hanging up with Megan and Max to talk everything we're talking about soon. And then shout out to our man Maynard.
Oh,
He's up
Patrick
in
is
there.
jumping.
Patrick's in the chat. Hop in, guys. Like share all this good stuff.
You got a beer,
But
let us know what you're
if
drinking.
you got a beer, let us know what you're drinking. Like I said, I'm drinking Pop from Ardent Craft Ales. And yeah, this brought back a lot of nostalgia for me personally. Just the feeling of a kid again, right? I kind of woke up Saturday morning cartoons. I would always watch X-Men animated series. This is one of my awakenings into the nerd realm, if you will, because everybody's nerd deep dives and love of nerd culture seems to start with the X-Men, at least.
But it's also older than you. Like, when did it go off the air? Like, I was probably in high school by the time it went
I mean,
off.
probably it ran for 5 seasons. So
Yeah, I
more than
wasn't
likely you were too
watching
cool
cartoons in high
doing
school unless it was a Disney movie.
all jacked up on Dunkin'. Dude, I ordered okay. If we've all watched the Super Bowl and if you don't follow our social media channels, you're living under a rock because your boy bought the Dunkings jacket. And so I have the Dunkings jacket coming to me soon. And you better believe I'm going to do a whole ass photo shoot, Dunkin'
Oh,
iced
we know.
coffee in hands. I'm going to be just stunting like, oh, I will
Can I
look
just say
so
that
good.
commercial came on, and my husband and I both literally looked at each other, and he goes, "Matt's gonna have that jacket." And like the next day, I was like, "Matt ordered that jacket," and Josh was like, "Of course he did."
Of course I did, but that's what makes me me, man. Ain't
It
nobody
is
out
what
there
makes you.
quite like me because who else do you know that's going to buy a Dunkings jacket? Oh well,
Apparently, a
there's
lot of
actually
people because
a
it's
lot
sold
of
out
people
right
because
away.
it's sold out, and they even did like a restock and it's sold out. So fine, I guess I'm not as original as I once thought I was. But you know what? I am original. Okay, gosh dang it, I'm somebody. My mom said I was handsome once.
I told you the story when Kaylee thought OG meant original group, right?
Yes.
You're the
So
OG. You're original.
let's talk about this Deadpool trailer. You want to talk about this Deadpool trailer? Oh, actually, you know what? Let's build the anticipation because Lauren, I want to see what you read this week. Before we talk about this trailer, we want to do a little segment called our reading recommendations. What we do on our normal episodes, we want to give you guys some fantastic recommendations of what you're reading or what you're watching lately. So, real quick, Lauren, what is it that you have read or watched?
So I'm about halfway through that book I grabbed at MegaCon, Supernatural Psychology. It's really, really cool. I'm mentioning it again because Dr. Travis Langley is the guy who wrote it, and he's coming to one of the cons you're going to now.
He's
And
going to
he
GalaxyCon Richmond. Yes.
There you go. And he hosted the Spider-Man one, and I know we mentioned it on the podcast last week, but I'm really enjoying it. It's really kind of cool the way they're saying, like, okay, well, Dean reacted like this because of the childhood trauma that he incurred at this age, and it's different than Sam because Sam was this age. And he really kind of like breaks down all of it, and then we'll even compare certain things to like real life situations. But it's I guess what I love about what it's doing is because it's supernatural things and they're constantly building new trauma, and this is why they react. So it's like validating everything that like has happened. Like every time they kept secrets from each other, every time they lashed out, or every time they did this, it's like, oh, here's the psychoanalyst or whatever of why. You can tell he wrote the book before the show was over because there are some things that aren't mentioned, but he literally will pinpoint an exact episode and be like, in this specific episode. And it's really cool. I'm loving that. As far as comic books that I read this week that I reviewed for Nerd Initiative, the first one is Wolverine #3. It is on the third issue of the Sabretooth fights. So I've been reading this comic for years now. I think it started, I mean, if it's on 43, it started in like 2020 or something.
Yeah.
It's a Ben Percy run. But if that's like overwhelming and you don't want to go back and read all those, start with issue 41 and you can just get the Sabretooth War. I love Sabretooth and Logan. Sabretooth is just trying to mess up Logan's birthday. He always has to come and celebrate his birthday by doing something really mean. We even talked about it a little bit in our Valentine's special because obviously I focused on Wolvie. And so highly recommend that series. That's the Deadpool and Wolverine was like, I don't know, issues a couple years ago. I love them together. I'm hoping that's the dynamic we see on the screen. I know I've said it before and I will say it again. And the other thing I reviewed this week was The Hunger and Dusk by G. Willow Wilson. That is IDW Publishing. That
Great
one,
comic.
yes, it is fantastic. It's nothing like I thought I would like. It is all about like a world with humans and orcs, and they hate each other and they have these prejudices towards each other that have gone on for generations, but they have to team up because their world is dying and they're fighting this other enemy. But it's not really about the war. It's more about the relationships and dealing with the trauma of growing up in war and dealing with having to overcome prejudices to work with each other to survive, while also knowing that like not everybody's on board. So it's a lot about relationships and character development. And this last issue went into the past, which I always love when they build you up. You love these characters, and then you get to learn more about them and you fall more in love with them. That one
Yeah.
is on issue 6. This is a great time to catch up because they're taking a little bit of a hiatus, but that's The Hunger and the Dusk. And if G. Willow Wilson sounds familiar and you're not big into comics, it's because she had a hand in creating Miss Marvel.
Oh, which is pretty freaking one of my, up and coming favorite comic characters lately. And I got a couple of recommendations for you guys this week. Do yourselves a favor and read Batman City of Madness by Christian Ward. It takes place basically there's a whole Gotham under Gotham, if you will, and Batman is trying to save this kid who gets kidnapped and by the Court of Owls version of Batman, and he has to go down there and save him. It's 3 issues. They're about 50 to 60 pages ish per issue. But dudes, when I tell you that this is my top 3 Batman comic book of all time, it is that good. It is Christian absolutely hammers home the psyche of Gotham City and of Batman. It is
And that artwork is
so
gorgeous.
the artwork it belongs in a museum. It's that good. And then I also read from Image Comics Kill Your Darlings by Griffin Sheridan, Ethan S. Parker, John J. Hill, and Robert Quinn. They are absolutely killing it with those issues. 6 issues out so far. 8 issues are going to be in the entire run. And then also, aside from that, I read Thunderbolts from our friends Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly. And man, if you want some comics for beginners, geez, you can pretty much just go ahead and pick up a comic book. I mean, anything could be for beginners, honestly. But yeah, if you're talking about is Batman good for beginners? Yeah, I would say so because it doesn't make you understand 10 plus years of Batman. I think that's why I've always liked DC more because they don't always rely on like they always start over in different stories, and so I would recommend City of Madness for sure for new comic book
Yes,
readers.
and there's only 3 issues. It also depends on what you're into because, like, I didn't get into it until I was an adult. So I used to, like, get comic books at Barnes& and Noble that were, like, I got, like, the first 30 issues of X-Men ever
Yeah,
and, of Avengers ever, and then I would handpick Wolverine ones. And, the first time I went to a comic book shop, I really felt so awkward. I felt like everyone stopped and looked at me and was like, "Why are you here?" It
there's a
felt
girl.
so
She reads
weird.
comics.
Well, and I was
You.
doing work. I was in full suit, so, like, and I was looking for a Thor shirt to wear to the Thor premiere because Timmy was getting us in early to the first Thor movie. And then I found a comic book shop that I loved, and, like, I was looking for Walking Dead at the time, and then I told them, what I like, and now they literally just put comics in my box that they know I'm gonna like. So talking to the people, I'm like, "Do you wanna get into Marvel? Do you wanna get into DC? Do you just want a good story? Do you want something independent? Do you want a superhero? Do you want not a superhero?" So those are, like, the kind of questions you
Yeah,
tell somebody at a small comic book shop, and they will
they're good, man.
be
Shout out to your
happy
local
to
comic
oblige,
shops.
yeah.
Yeah. Real quick in the chat, Wolverine posters all over your room. Man, who doesn't love Wolverine, right? There's something so primal, especially as a kid. He's a badass. Richard, Deadpool, yeah, and then shout out to Wolverine, Cyclops, Colossus. We had Deadpool, obviously Logan, Wolverine, and Salt Sabretooth in the series are a work of art. Yeah, dude, absolutely agree. And then shout out to Patrick who's drinking a Mystic Infinity Black IPA from Phase 3 Brewing. Dude, black IPAs do not get enough love. More breweries should
100%.
be doing black IPAs, black lagers. I will say that right off the bat. But yeah, dude, again, support your local comic book shops, support your local breweries, support your local businesses, coffee shops even. I love a good local coffee. Now, Lauren,
Now we
what do
can
you
talk
want to
about
talk
the
what do
trailer.
you want to talk about?
I wanna talk about Patch.
All
So
right, let's dive in.
So a lot went on in the trailer, but we really didn't see Wolverine at all. But because it was kind of a tease, but obviously the way they ended it with Deadpool and Wolverine is very exciting. But if anybody's not familiar with who Patch is, it's just Wolverine. And when you saw the guy with the white jacket on and you saw Wolvie's little hair sticking up, that is Patch. It's like his undercover identity, and that means we're probably also on Madripoor, which we got to see in Falcon and Winter Soldier. We got to see the Princess Bar in Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I'm hoping to get more Madripoor. A lot of people are theorizing that's when Deadpool goes and gets Wolverine so that he can help him do whatever he needs to do.
I did see a theory that was Patches might possibly be our new MCU Wolverine. Like there's a chance that
Really? But that
maybe
would
this
mean
act
so you don't think it's Hugh Jackman?
no, it's a theory. It's a working theory. We don't know. We see him from the back, but the
No, I felt
working
like it
theory
looked
is
like Hugh.
what if Patches is the MCU's new
Patch.
Wolverine or Patch? Sorry,
No, it should
I'm
be
thinking
Laura.
Patches O'Houlihan,
It should be Laura or Denkin. I don't want
but that's not going to happen. I guarantee
Logan to be
you,
recast.
because they're going to
Yes.
get the X Men off the ground, and who's key component into X Men? Wolverine. Unless, hear me out. What if they don't introduce Wolverine for a bit and they give us like Cyclops, Rogue, Jubilee, the X-Men that we know, and then they slowly soft introduce in a couple years this character, and then we get the entire backstory of Logan doing Weapon X and all that stuff again.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I just don't think he should be cast again yet. We need time to mourn it.
Oh,
Meanwhile,
agreed.
like Logan came out almost 7 years ago, and that wasn't enough time for for me to feel like he should be recast. That's gonna be hard, but
Well,
yeah.
there also is the choice that, yeah, like I was thinking along the line with Rich, is that what if it's a variant like Radcliffe or Taron Egerton, something kind of like what they do with John Krasinski, but what if that's their way of screen testing different, like, because this is a variant based movie. What if
Mhm.
they use this as the opportunity to screen test different actors as Wolverine? And
Yeah,
then
I don't know. I still think they should do Laura or Denkin, especially Laura because they've already introduced her in the MCU.
mm, Laura wasn't introducing him. That wasn't part of the MCU. That's the Fox universe.
Well, it's part of the MCU now.
I mean, it is, but it's not, because remember what they said is
No, I
this
know it's
movie, it's all separate. It's separate. Uh
it's part of the MCU now. They've introduced Laura on the big screen to where people who have never read a comic know who she is.
yeah. I mean,
Dankin they have not done. I would love for it to be him. I think that would be really cool. But I think if I think they would lean towards Laura because she's known.
I mean, maybe it's possible, but I almost wonder, man. I'm telling you, what if they introduce some Wolverine variants to screen test? I could see them doing something like that,
I want them
which
to
would
go
be
to
awesome.
Japan. We need a Wolverine in Japan.
We do. Let's talk about some cameos in the trailer too. Aside from that, Shatterstar was back. Colossus,
Peter!
teenage. Yes, Peter was back. Negasonic, Teenage Warhead.
Teenage
She was.
and
I always
Pinkie
get her
Pie.
name backwards, but
Yukio.
yeah. And then the TVA was obviously back because they show up to Wade's door, and the funniest thing was his wig falls off, like his toupee. I thought that was hilarious. And dude, we also get to see his boo. She's back in this too. I mean, it's good to see her
He
back.
fixed everything.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So,
Yeah, so if anybody was confused at first, because for a second it took, I was thinking it was a dream, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, he went at the end," because it just seemed like a joke at the time, but he went at the end and saved everybody he loves and fixed everything and killed Ryan Reynolds
yeah,
before he did Green Lantern.
we do get a shout out to Professor. I mean, we don't know if it's Professor X. There's a back shot of a bald guy that looks like Patrick Stewart. Like,
I don't even think I caught that.
yeah, there's a shot there. There looks like some cool spots, maybe where Logan died, or maybe where Age of Ultron kicks off at, and then of course the whole showdown at the 20th Century Fox area where there's a Secret Wars comic book, and then everybody thinks that this is Doctor Doom, but it's definitely Pyro, who's back
Oh,
from
that's
the X-Men.
Pyro, yeah.
Yeah, it's but the guy in the mask, they're like, "Oh, it's a guy with a hood and wearing a
I
Doctor
thought it
Doom like
was for a
mask." I'm like,
second, and then when I
they're
looked
not going to
back, I was like,
introduce.
"Eh."
There's no way they introduce Doctor Doom in this setting, but it would be very ballsy if they did.
Do you think they're in the void at the end of time in Loki?
Oh, that's exactly what this is. This is definitely the void, be where everything kind of collapses and everything like that. And this is the way that Deadpool's going to end up in the MCU universe, of course, because that's what's going to happen.
Do you think
Um,
Ravonna will show up?
well,
Isn't she
that was my
still there?
next question for you:
Okay.
is do you think because at the end of Loki, spoilers, 3, 2, 1, Ravonna Renslayer's in the void. So do you think she's there?
Oh my gosh. I wanna
Oh,
say, yeah. I feel like this is all Mephisto. I don't wanna, like, over theorize things. Um, I think that that would make sense, and I think that would be a great way for them to connect things because that's, been the whole thing, no pun intended for Loki, but everything's, been branching out. I thought Miss Marvel started to bring some stuff back in, but that was more like fun nods, whereas we really need these stories to start weaving to get
oh
to
yeah.
Secret Wars or, because I don't think we're getting Kang anymore, but
Well, I'm wondering if they'll just. That's my other thing is, are we going to get a recasting? Like, I still think Ravonna Renslayer could be a cool. I don't know. Who knows? That's a wonderful thing about the multiverse, right? You can just
I like
timey wimey wave your hand around and like poof, there you go.
wibbly
It's
wobbly, timey wimey. Yeah, as
the
long as they
pyro.
can keep it consistent and don't heroes is always the first thing I think when I think time travel. Just
Yeah,
don't heroes it.
true. Shout out also the pyro actor. He's from Massachusetts. Gotta love that. Shout out Basement Surge, man. Welcome in from New York. And yeah, dude, I don't. I'm not going to over theorize it, but I think one of the things that gets me most excited about this movie is I think we're going to get to watch it the night before I fly back to the States while we're in London.
And it comes out a day early in London.
I know, but like how mad
How are we gonna get the
is
tickets
like
though? Like, because you're gonna have to buy tickets ahead of time. So we're gonna have to like find a
we can probably
theater in
we can do
England
this.
ahead of time.
Well, my question more so is like, is someone going to watch our kids? So like the 4 of us, the 10 of us, 20 of us can go and watch this together.
Everybody we're going with is not gonna care. Ski's not gonna care. We'll leave all the
Okay.
kids with Ski.
Well, I know like Carrie's going to want to go, so we got to bring Carrie. Josh probably won't care, but I know me and Carrie will probably go.
Kaylee will care. Kaylee will go.
Okay, so we're gonna leave all the kids with Josh and Ski. There you go. We've already figured it out. Perfect. I don't care if the drinking age is 18. You know what? Take them out drinking. Put the
Oh,
kids to
that's
bed early.
true.
I got a whole day of flying the next day. As long as we explore some cool shit in London that morning and day, and then we go watch
What would
Deadpool
be
that night.
cool is if they were releasing it literally 2 days earlier, we could have seen it on the boat.
That's my other thing is, do you think they're gonna surprise do that?
I No, but that would be really cool.
Man,
Plus, when I was on the boat like a month after Guardians 3 came out, and it was like full immediately every night they played it.
see, that would be so cool if they would just go ahead and do that for us.
That would be really
Guys, we're in
cool.
international waters. Break the rules a little bit, man. Let's get
Plus,
crazy.
you guys own it anyways. Yeah.
It's literally your movie and we're on your boat.
Can we
Please.
talk about that too? He's
Yeah,
like, begging's not new for me, but it
but
is
it
for
is for
Disney.
Disney. Looks at the camera, wink. Like I love that was that's what I'm so excited
Happy
for this movie.
International Women's Month or Women's Day,
Yes.
babe.
It was like, how can you not be excited for this? And speaking of which, movies are sports. Shout out to Matt Remke from the Direct. He talks about this all the time. He's somebody I want to get on the show. And I talk about this all the time, right? Like I just always attribute things to sports. But the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl. They slept walked through the entire regular season and everybody pronounced them dead. Marvel right now, everybody pronounced dead. Marvel's dead. Marvel this, Marvel that. Well, they went ahead this week and they won their championship, or they just pulled it out, laid it on the table. They
Most
dropped what the cool thing is that this trailer dropped before the kickoff of the game. Like,
yeah.
shout out to them for doing
It
that.
was
Not
like
making,
immediate. I was like, everybody stop talking.
yeah, they went ahead and just straight off the bat was like, all right, you want the Deadpool trailer? We know what you're here for. Well, here you go. Nobody actually wants to watch this awful Super Bowl. Here you go. Here's the trailer. So we got that. And then aside from that, we got the X-Men 97 trailer. And then we got this little casting, this little tiny bit of announcement about the Fantastic Four, where we're getting Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, which we knew already. Vanessa Kirby is going to be Sue Storm. She's been in all the Mission Impossible movies, not all of them, but like the last 6 or something. But she's a phenomenal actress. She's playing Sue Storm. We got Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm. Joseph Quinn, hot commodity, especially coming off of the whole Eddie Munson Stranger Things bit. And this was something that was kind of confirmed to us, and everybody kind of was an open secret we knew about. And then
Yeah.
Eben Moss Backrash. I can never pronounce his name right, but he's Ben Grimm, aka the Thing. And you know Eben, if you've watched The Bear, he is cousin. Yeah, he's in there. And yeah, first of all, yes, that awful Dunks commercial I should have been in. We just glossed over the fact that they didn't even bother to call me. It's okay. Like I guess
They're
it's okay. Like you
mad you
think they could?
posted that hairy bagel.
Well, first of all, they never even acknowledged my hairy bagel from the weekend before.
Of course, they're
And
not going to
then
acknowledge your hairy bagel.
I would like a free bagel, Dunks, or at least give me a free jacket for the hair in my bagel. But here I am in an abusive relationship, still going back to Dunkin'
They don't
Donuts.
need to say they're sorry. They know they got you.
That's true. They're like, listen, we know you're going to be back tomorrow. Don't worry.
It's like me
And
with
sure
Disney.
enough, I was there twice this week. And funny enough, I went there. One of the days I went this week, I went with some of my friends from work, and we ordered 3 iced coffees. They didn't have any almond milk, first of all. They didn't have any butter pecan. And then here's the kicker. It was
And
$17. And we're like, $17 for 3 medium iced coffees. What is going on?
what are we at
And
Starbucks?
exactly. Well, I look at the receipt and they charged us for 4 donuts. They didn't give us 4 donuts. And so we
Those bastards.
turned around, went back in. I said, you charged me for 4 donuts.
Were
We
you
didn't get
wicked
donuts.
pissed?
I was wicked pissed. I went in there. Listen here. You charged me for donuts. I don't want a fucking donut. But you know what? I'm gonna eat these donuts so hard out of principle that you better give me all 4 fucking donuts. And I got 4 donuts, and we ate them in the car.
You did not get your money back. You went back and got donuts.
You're gonna charge me for something I did not order and you did not give me. I am gonna go in there and I'm gonna get my donuts.
So they forced you to buy 4 donuts.
And then, not to mention, like, Dunks, do you know who I am? You put me on your Instagram once. Like, don't treat me like one of those people you met at the bar and never want to see again.
Oh man.
I'm better than that. But I digress. Yes,
Let's talk about
Fantastic
this
Four
casting.
casting. What are your thoughts?
So the only person I know is Eddie Munson and Pedro Pascal. I think Eddie's great. I think
Pause.
how
Time out.
oh,
Nope. Gonna cut you. Cut your
because I
mic. Cut her
said
mic.
Eddie.
Cut her
What
mic.
did
Cut her
I
mic.
do?
Go watch The Bear, man. What are you doing? The
I
Bear
am
is
gonna
one of
watch
the
The
best
Bear.
TV shows out there.
I need to catch up on Only Murders too, so I just need to do like a month of Hulu. I am gonna
What
watch
a-
The Bear.
I'll give you my password.
I think we even have.
I don't even know what my password is off the top. I have to reset it to give you my password. But
No, The Bear is on my to-do list. But yeah, so I think Eddie Munson's going to be a great Torch. I'm very excited to see him. He was very high energy in Stranger Things, and obviously you need somebody very high energy to be Johnny Storm. The other two look great. I've heard great things, so I have no issue with them. As far as Pedro Pascal, when I first heard like the rumors a few weeks ago with him as Mr. Fantastic, I was kind of like, I don't really see it, but I trust him. And the more I think about it, Game of Thrones, The Last of Us, Mandalorian, Narcos, everything I've seen him in, he's kicked out of the park or
He's
hit
kicked out
out
of
of
the
the park.
park, huh? He's kicked out of the park. Yeah,
Hit out of the park.
he
Oh, that was
kicked
like
that
Cast.
baseball right out the park.
I had a Castiel moment there for a minute. That was a sports term,
Oh
like
boy,
ball handler.
I understood that
Um,
reference.
good job. But I thought it was. I'm here for it. I think he's going to do a great job. am not like, yes, that's the perfect casting by any means, but I trust Pedro Pascal. I love Pedro Pascal. So I think he will do a good job. I'm hoping they didn't just cast him because he's so hot right now,
Oh, he's so
but
hot,
I'm here
daddy.
for it. Zaddy, whatever the hell
Shout
that
out to my
means.
boy Lozano, first of all, and then also my mom. Yeah, I could share my password with you. I don't know what my
Oh,
password is. I should share my password with my mom. She's
and
asking.
my
I could.
mom's in the YouTube. Hi,
I
mom.
I can do that. But yeah, no, Pedro Pascal's I must be living in a bubble because somebody posted like unpopular opinion, but I think Pedro Pascal is going to be really good as
There
Reed
are
Richards.
I've heard a few people say that they think he's great. They just don't think he's
Who?
Mr. Fantastic. Quite
I
a few
think he's
people.
fantastic. All right. But like I saw this and I was like, this is an unpopular opinion. Since when? And apparently it is. Apparently people on Twitter, for whatever
I
that
think
was
it's just
worth.
mixed opinions. But I questioned Chris Evans when he got cast. I was like, how can he be Captain America? I kept picturing him with a banana and whipped cream sticking out of his ass. I'm like, this is not Captain America. And now that's Captain America's ass. So there
I
you
kind of
go.
wish. No, but like
Uh,
it's kind of crazy though. You're right. Like, how many times are we going to learn this lesson of, oh, this guy's going to stink? And then they go and they absolutely crush their role. And we're like, he's the greatest ever. How many
yeah, I
times are
can't
we going to do
really.
this?
I
Speaking
mean,
of
is there
which,
anybody in the
I'm drinking
MCU that
another
you were
beer.
like, oh, I'm almost there? Anybody in the MCU that
Uh,
you've really been like, oh, somebody else could have done better? Maybe
um,
War Machine or Hulk?
yes, actually there is. And his name is, uh, Don Cheadle was better than the
Right.
reason why it was actually Rhodey. I was like, wow, in the first Iron Man, somebody can do this way better. And lo and behold, they recast him. And it had nothing to do with the fact that he wanted more money than he was worth.
Well, I mean,
I'm
maybe
just
they
kidding.
just recast him because he became a Skrull and only we could see
Oh boy. It's me.
his
I'm here.
feathers.
Deal with it. But shout out to Rich who says Vanessa Kirby is awesome. She's in the last two Mission Impossibles. She's in as the White Widow. I actually haven't seen the most recent Mission Impossible yet, but I do love Vanessa Kirby. She's awesome.
I only saw
Uh,
the first one that came out
she's gonna
in maybe
listen.
2000,
They've gotten better as they've gone on. The Mission Impossible
but they're
movies,
still all Tom Cruise, aren't they?
yeah, and he's
Oh,
awesome
isn't
in
Henry
these
Cavill's
movies.
in some? I don't
Yeah,
know that
Henry
that's
Cavill,
definitely on my to-do list,
he
but
cocks his arms. He's
there
like,
is.
"Yeah, I'm in the bathroom. I'm gonna beat your dick off with both hands." And then he's
Henry
like,
Cavill says that?
"No,
No.
it's from 21
Oh.
Jump Street." He's like, "I'm gonna beat your dick off." But when he's cocking his arms, that's what he's thinking in his head. I just know it is.
Ah.
And but yeah, no, Vanessa Kirby's awesome. I think Joseph Quinn's gonna be pretty rad as a Human Torch. I'm pretty stoked for that. But my
Well,
absolute dude as Ben Grimm, I think he's gonna rock the shit out of that casting.
I haven't heard anybody complaining about him. I've only heard good things.
Hold on, how many Mission Impossibles are we on now? Because if Henry Cavill's in the sixth
75?
one, are we on like 9?
It's like Fast and the Furious. I'm telling you, I saw the first one in high school, and I've been out of high school for over 20 years.
So I don't know. They're good movies, and Tom Cruise may be a crappy person like most of Hollywood, but if that man can do anything, it's an action movie.
So let's talk about the fact that it's a period piece.
Oh, it is. So I should have uploaded the I'm sorry, I didn't upload the poster. I can do better in production next time, guys. I promise. I will do better for you guys. We're still test running this whole new method of like happy hours and doing some live shows to talk about stuff. So if you like it, please like, subscribe, share, follow, blah, 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 all that stuff
Ooh,
that
my
makes me
mom
feel
does
like I'm
not
a
want me to
10-year-old
do that.
influencer. But we are going to be test running this. So I will get better with the graphics. But I have to say that I don't remember what we were talking about.
I
What was the
mentioned that
question?
it's in the 60s.
That's right. That's right. The 60s. So yes, the 60s, which goes back to Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, who's like, Fantastic Four, didn't you chart in the 60s? And a lot of people are like, oh, this is not going to work as a period piece, but it has to, because How else are you going to explain the Fantastic Four not saving the Earth from Thanos?
Yeah, or
Duh.
you could just say that it's a different multiverse. That's kind of just like I feel like that's their answer for everything now. It's just a
Oh yeah,
different
they just
multiverse.
came from a different universe.
Yeah.
They're from a different universe.
So
It's all
like they can
timey
have
wimey.
these it's not like Star Wars where it's like, okay, well, is that canon or not canon? Like it's fake or it's real. Like no, Marvel MCU now can just yeah, we'll just interweave them later for Secret Wars if there's an incursion happening or something.
Also, your mom is wrong. Mission Impossible doesn't need to die. You know what needs to die?
Pickle
Evil,
beers.
evil, and it needs to die tonight.
Okay.
Oh
We'll
man,
talk.
you don't.
I
All
never
right,
even watched the last one because you said it was so bad.
it was so bad. It was.
I feel like I
But
still need
yeah,
to. I feel like this light is so bright.
I'm very stoked for this Fantastic Forecasting. I think we're pretty spoiled, and it's going to be great. And man, it's a good time. Like Marvel just had a bad week. Well, they didn't have a bad week. They kind of put out some good PR because Madam Web's out now. If Lauren's
That's
not going to go see it, I'm going to go see Madam Web tomorrow. I'm going to be honest. I raised my hand. Regal has paid me $400 a month for the last year. I am going to use their money to pay themselves back, and I'm going to go watch Madam Web, and I'm going to let everybody know how bad it really is because I've
okay.
heard from everybody.
The fact that Sean from Metalcore Nerds said it was bad
Sean is the
means
most
it's bad.
positive human being on planet
Yes,
Earth.
I
Sean
trust
finds the
his
good.
opinion like more
Yeah.
than I trust like most people's opinions when it comes to the MCU
Yes. Sean is like the most absolute
or not
positive human
MCU.
being on earth.
Just honestly, just movies in
Well,
general, all of it. Like he's
he'll
usually
find the
on
good.
a similar. Yes, he's usually on a similar page as I am. He never goes into a movie negatively, and like he said
He
this.
will
Yeah.
literally always find the good in literally everything.
And where did
And so
he
when
actually posted a review of it? It's in our Discord, but where does he post the reviews? Where can people
go
find his
to
review?
at Metalcore Nerds, go ahead at Metalcore Nerds if you want to read his review, and just go ahead and read his review from Adam Webb. It's not good, but like everything, you know me and I love terrible movies, so I think I'm gonna go watch it with Carrie
Ooh.
tomorrow. I'm gonna get out of work at 12 and I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna let everybody here know what it's about. Or not what it's about, but I'm gonna let everybody know, like, yes, like if you don't trust their opinions, trust I got you. Papa Shango's got you. Papa Roth has got you. I'm
All
gonna
right,
let
so let's
everybody know.
talk more about Fantastic Four. So
Do you
what
have
else
anything
did
left to
we?
say? Yeah. What
So
else do you
it
have to
comes
say about
out
Fantastic Four?
July 25th, 2025.
It
So it's
does.
on
July
a
11th is
year.
actually Superman. So these two movies come out together.
Wow, next year's gonna be amazing for superhero movies. The Life magazine is what people realize it's from 1963. People actually went back and found the
Oh yeah,
Life
because
magazine that Thing is
Ronald
reading.
Reagan's on the front, right?
No,
Or it's not Reagan, it's that other shitty president.
I don't know who that is.
Carter?
Eisenhower,
No, not
Lyndon B.
Carter. Jimmy,
Johnson, I think.
that's who it was. Jimmy Carter was a good president. Lyndon B. Carter, yeah, he's on there. Yes.
Um,
Johnson,
what
Lyndon
else
B.
do we
Carter.
have
I
from
can't
it?
get my names right. I'm sorry.
Oh, who's the little robot dude? He's relevant.
Oh, that's
He's
their
from the
nanny.
comics.
That's their nanny.
Ah, see, the only Fantastic Four comics I actually read were ones where they had crossovers with like the
Is
X-Men
David
or the
Tennant
Avengers.
gonna play the nanny in this one too? The robot? Is David Tennant gonna be the robot in this one too?
That'd be
That'd be
fun.
great,
He did
wouldn't it? Wouldn't that
great
be
in
awesome?
Ahsoka and
He
yeah,
did.
Clone Wars.
He did. Is he gonna come
Herbie,
back?
Richard,
Herbie.
or yeah, Herbie.
Guys, woof. Me and names. It's hard out here. But yeah, no, like the cover's full of like because the cool thing about Ben Grimm is everybody's sitting there in the cover of the Life, and then Ben Grimm sitting there as the Thing, and then behind him is actually the portrait, which is really cool.
Yep.
Maybe we'll have to have a whole deep dive into Herbie before Fantastic Four comes out.
Well, now, okay, so obviously their kids are relevant in Secret Wars, Mr.
They're-
Fantastic and Sue Storm.
right.
So I wonder if they will do any of that, and if any of that, I mean, they wouldn't even be the Young Avengers though if it's taking place in the 60s because
No, well,
they're
they
laying the
probably
groundwork for all this Young Avengers stuff.
what if they I doubt they're gonna introduce their kids in this one. What's probably is gonna happen again, they're gonna go to a pocket dimension and they're gonna come back at the end of this movie and it's
And
gonna
it's
be
a full-on origin story.
2024. It's gonna be an origin without being
Oh,
origins, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're gonna
but
go to pocket
in this
dimension.
picture though, it's the 60s and he's already Thing.
That's what I'm saying, like, I think it's not gonna be it's gonna be like Spider-Man:
That's
Homecoming.
what I'm hoping, yeah.
It's not an
Right,
origin story, but it's an origin story. It's their first
right, we
they're
don't need to
already
see Uncle
here,
Ben die again.
and I think they're gonna go and get stuck in a pocket dimension, and then they're gonna end up coming
Okay.
And I think they're gonna at the end of the movie, that's when they get stuck in the pocket dimension. And then the next time we see them again is them introducing themselves into the modern day MCU as we know it. I think we will get a Doom introduction for whatever that is worth, because it's supposed to start filming this summer. So they got time to cast Doom. I think we're gonna get Doom, whether it's Doom as the main villain, which I don't think they're gonna do that yet, but they're gonna introduce him because if they decide to pivot from Kang, they can pivot to Doom.
And we do
And
get Thunderbolts before Fantastic Four comes out. So Thunderbolts is going to be May 2nd. So I mean, and at least an end credit scene, I would hope, leading into that.
yeah, that's my big thing is that's exactly what I think and I see this going is that direction. But maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I don't write these movies. I think we're very
Yeah, we're
spoiled next
just
year. Like this year,
dude.
we only have one movie. It's
But
Deadpool.
that's
Next
the
year,
only one we need.
we have
If
the
that
Thunderbolts
like
in May. Like Thunderbolts in May 5th of 2025. Superman
May
Legacy,
2nd,
May 2nd.
May
Sorry,
2nd.
good catch. Superman Legacy, July 11th, 2025. And then 2 weeks later, July 25th, we have the Fantastic Four. Like, and then I think there's other comic book movies coming out there. I think the Batman is actually supposed to come out in 2025.
Yeah, hopefully it's better than the first one.
Are you?
Oh, Matt just quit the podcast.
I quit. I need a new co-host. Richard,
Hey, it
you
was
know
better
what?
than Batman
You
versus
got really
Superman.
trustworthy. Richard's got very trustworthy. Oh, Captain America, Brave New World is also next year in February. That's right.
Is it really? Oh
It
shit.
is.
So that's
And
going to
I
be right
think
after Christmas.
Creature Commandos is next year too, I want to say as well. So like we are stacked, dude. If the world ends before 2025, I'm coming back and haunting every single person that made it end because I need these movies in my life. I need them. I
When's
need
our
it.
next Disney Plus show? I mean, for Marvel, we have Bad Batch comes out next week.
X-Men 97, March 20th.
No, but like live action.
Oh, that would probably be Daredevil Born Again. And they could probably realistically get that out the end of the year if they wanted to.
Okay, I hope so.
So we don't have any confirmed dates as far as
But we've seen
um
pictures. Too many
maybe
pictures.
no, shout out to Richard again. Maybe Creature Commandos is later this year. For some reason I thought it was next year, but maybe he's right. Maybe he's
What is
right.
Creature Commandos?
Creature Commandos is DC. It's an animated, like Frank Grillo's in it. It's a
Mm.
animated. It's going to be animated, but like the characters can very seamlessly go into live action at the same
Oh,
time.
okay. I remember James Gunn talking about that
Yeah.
now. Okay.
So that's on the radar this year. This year's kind of, I think this year needs to breathe comic book movie wise, comic book TV show wise, maybe not release a bunch of stuff
They have to pull it. They got
because
to tease us a little bit. We've gotten too spoiled and we turned into obnoxious little shits.
I mean, you're right. We are way too spoiled. People are complaining about every facet of comic book movies right now. So, all right, we'll peel back. We'll give you a year off. Besides Deadpool, which is going to shatter records, and
It
we'll come
already
back.
is.
It broke
It
the
was like,
record for the trailer.
yeah, like most streamed trailer ever or something.
Yeah, and so like that's what we're going off with there. And I'm telling you, 2025, people are going to be happy. Everybody's going to forget all about this. Oh, superhero fatigue, Marvel fatigue, DC fatigue. I think DC is going to be right there with Marvel. People are going to be just losing their minds over DC, in my opinion. I already do. What's up, Timothy? Welcome for coming in the chat, man. Yeah, for most watched trailer ever in the first 24 hours was the Deadpool one. And just wait until we get a Fantastic Four trailer. I guarantee you that's going to shatter that.
Oh my gosh. No. There's nothing bigger than Deadpool and Wolverine. Especially because
Fantastic Four.
no, because here's the difference. While Fantastic Four, yes, it's a few years old. It's older than Wolverine and Deadpool comic book wise, 100%. However, it is not bringing in these phenomenal movies that Jessica Alba and whoever else was in and then bringing them to. You're taking
Who's heading to Treehouse? Time out. Who is that?
Hugh Jackman, who started in the year 2000, 24 years ago. Him and Tobey Maguire have to like credit them for bringing us all here. Like without them starting this, I mean, like how many people fell in love with Marvel because of Hugh Jackman and Tobey Maguire? So that is, and then Deadpool, then we fell in love with Wolverine. Then we got Wolverine Origins, and then they did that to Deadpool, and then Deadpool comes back and fixes all of that. And now we're getting this movie. So there's no way Fantastic Four is going to break any records that Deadpool and Wolverine are, because Deadpool and Wolverine are the, as you kids like to say, the GOAT.
Are we betting on this? I think we should put a
Sure.
bet. No love for Blade. Listen, dude, Blade's never getting made at this point. I'm not counting Blade yet because Blade is. I
We
don't
got a
think
Blade
Blade's ever going to
reference
get
in Deadpool
made.
because Ryan.
I,
Well, now you got Ryan Reynolds because also they just made Netflix canon, so now Cottonmouth is Blade.
it doesn't matter. Multiverse.
Nothing really matters.
Multiverse, child. Multiverse.
As long as we have Deadpool to just call it all out, you look
No,
like
but
that bad guy from Luke Cage. Hey, I
I
was in a
promise
movie
you
that you did with another guy.
that Fantastic Four trailer is going to break some records. I
That's why I don't
promise you.
write scripts.
That's true. That's why you don't.
I don't.
Speaking of which, I can announce this. I might have a comic book coming out at some point. I've been working on a script for a long time, kind of put it off to the side, and a friend of our show reached out and was like, "Hey, I can get you an artist. Let's make this happen." And so I think I might have a comic book coming out soon. We'll see what happens. What happens if beer gives you superpowers? Who knows? We're gonna find out maybe soon.
I mean, it does
But
to an extent.
it does.
It
But
gave us
yeah,
this
I don't know,
podcast.
man. It did. It did. We do this podcast, which thank you guys all for coming and jumping in the chat. Man, the chat has been popping off today. Richard, Lori. Hey, I miss you, Lori. I can't wait to come back to Orlando and see you again. Timothy is in there. My parents, Angela, Dan,
Huge
Mojo, Cha
reaction.
Cha. Thanks for popping in here again. Just everybody who was up in here. Our good friend, the Maynard Brewer, was up in here too. Thank you for making this podcast possible. If you guys want to, go ahead, like, subscribe, share, follow, all of that good stuff. You can find us right there. Hops Geek News is where you're going to find everything that Lauren and I do. We're there weekly on Nerd Initiative, where we do comic book reviews. And you're going to see Monday, we will put out on our channels the Patton Oswalt interview that we just did an hour ago, 2 hours ago. This podcast, what we've been able to do in the 4 years now that we've been doing this stuff is it's gotten us to do a lot of cool things, man. We did MegaCon. I have a GalaxyCon panel. I've got an AwesomeCon panel. Lauren and I are gonna go on a Disney cruise. I
I'm
never
not
would
going
have.
to be on either of those.
Yeah, but I never would have thought that I would be going on a Disney cruise in Europe. And because of you, I'm going on a Disney cruise in Europe now. And I've gotten to talk to Brian Buccellato, who has done Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. His other comics, Midlife and No One, both very good comic books, are out from Image. We've gotten to talking to Patton Oswalt, Jordan Bloom, and Scott Hepburn for the podcast. We've gotten to talk with Brian O'Halloran of Clerks, and we've gotten to talk with Scott Snyder, knew who we were. Like, I just got to gush for a minute. I have a lot of fun doing this. I have a lot of fun, especially when people are loving what we're doing. A lot of people are hopping in the chat, talking about it. A lot of what even is our life moments, especially in the past 2 weeks. What's up? What do you got?
So I just looked it up. We're so close to missing it. Our very first episode we ever pushed out for Geeks was July 29th, 2020. So we're missing being in Europe.
We're celebrating 4 years in Europe. We got to do
There you
something
go.
for that. We got to toast to that in Europe. We're going to do something.
We're going to go see Wolverine and Deadpool. Oh, look at that. I already switched it. It's not Deadpool and Wolverine. It's Wolverine and Deadpool.
We're going to go see Wolverine, Deadpool, Wolverine in Europe together. We will have out-of-theater reactions.
In Europe, it's Wolverine and Deadpool.
That's true, because you drive on the other side of the road.
Exactly. So there you go.
Yeah. So without you guys again, thanks for hanging out. Go ahead. Hops Geek News. That's where we're at. Be on the lookout for our Patton Oswalt, Jordan Blum, Scott Hepburn interview. Shout out to Ken from the ODPH and Nerd Initiative for helping make our dreams come true. And thank you guys. If you want to support the show as well, patreon.com/Hops Geek News. It goes to stuff like this right here. We get
Patreon
to
money here. Yeah.
Patreon money goes to, we upgraded to doing live shows and all this bells and whistles and stuff. That's all Patreon money. Comic-Cons, that pays for stickers and it pays for merch.
It hasn't yet, but hopefully one day.
It pays for stickers.
No, I pay for stickers.
Okay, well, it pays for this. And one day it will. Right? One day it will.
Dreams.
But it's the podcast has done things like, and you get to see episodes early. Like maybe our Patton Oswalt interview will get early. It's just things like that, man. Supporting the show lets us do what we love and may put on a good product. With that said,
we send you koozies.
We do. We send you koozies. We send you a little comic book bundle package. We try to get you stuff early. We let you pick the episodes that we do. Even we bring you on if you want to do an episode with us together as well. And this feels like a
Yeah.
Sarah McLaughlin commercial because you could support Hops Geek News for as low as $1 a month.
Arms of the angel,
For $1 a month, you too could support Matt and Lauren as
fly
they go on their
away
endeavors
with
and do
me.
all sorts of things, seeing
I don't think I
Deadpool.
can sing anymore without getting sued.
Yeah, but seriously, thank you guys. Longest drawn out thank you ever. Midwestern goodbye. We will be back next week. Be on the lookout. We released 2 new episodes this week. Number 1, we released Ryan Curtis joined us to talk about Supernatural because he worked on Supernatural for 3
Season.
seasons. And you get to hear about things such as how did they create the beheading of vampires? How did they do the stabbing? How did they do all sorts of cool stuff? And then also we released a Valentine's Day episode yesterday where we talked about Wolverine's tragic love life. And we also talked about Black Canary and Green Arrow, talked about their love life a little bit there. And next week, Monday, Patton Oswalt, Jordan Bloom. And maybe we'll go live again next week. Who knows? Maybe this might become more of a thing. And we also decided we're going to watch Madam Web when it comes out on streaming, and we're going to drink while doing it. So look out for that.
Sean came up with a drinking game every time they say spider.
Yes, every time they say, oh God, we're already going to die. Looking forward to that. But the only way you're going to find that, though, is if you subscribe to us. So do so. We'll catch you guys next week. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We are Hops Geek News. 1, 2, 3, 4.